Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 75. That's an interesting number. 75 episodes of the. I almost said horseman. I caught myself. Shadow Cult podcast. I'm thrown off because, we got Ricky on board this week and Walter's here. Yeah, myself, Scott, and James are here as always. Walter is back, and Ricky is here as a special guest for this week. And yeah, we got the five-man team that strive to survive.
Fab Five.
Five top.
We're the ultimate survival team. We each won our Survivor Series match, and now we're in the ultimate survival match.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But wait,
who are we taking on, though?
But who will be the sole survivor between us five?
Not me. I'm going out first. Fuck this shit. I gotta go home.
I'll
So you're gonna be
stick around to the end.
Pay me. I'm
You're going to
good.
be Martell and abandon your team.
I'm Bad News Browning it.
I can block it out. Yes.
Who's gonna be Harley Race?
James, you be Harley.
Big fish.
I'll-
Big fish.
I'll be DiBiase.
Big fish.
But anyway, so yeah, this week we are beginning Survivor Series month, as every episode, well, with the exception of one, but it's kind of tied in with it. We're doing top 10s all month, mostly Survivor Series based. This is the first of 3 of those starting tonight, and we are talking top 10 Survivor Series main events. Similar to what we did for SummerSlam, we're doing back-to-back top 10 main events, and then next week it's the top 10 disappointments. But then on the third week, top 10 Survivor Series teams, before we end the month off with the top 10 tag team specialist list. But, yeah, so over the years, man, I can't believe this next Survivor Series is the 35th one.
They just announced the teams today too.
Yeah, for 2 matches. We'll get into that later on. But yeah, over the years, there have been some amazing main events. Then there have been some terrible main events in Survivor Series history. We could eventually, probably do in the future, top 10 worst main events in Survivor Series history. But we're talking the best this time around. And
You're the best around.
Nothing's ever gonna keep me down.
Dad, you're the best. I'm the best around. Damn you, South Park. And can I just say this, Levi? Why you have your Christmas tree? It's too early for Christmas.
Hey, my Christmas tree is up too. Don't be judging, okay?
Exactly,
Don't
Ricky. Shut your Ricky.
Pencils
You
up,
shut
everything.
your whore mouth.
We're gonna decorate this weekend.
We gotta get to the turkey first, and then you
Don't.
put the Christmas tree.
Fuck Thanksgiving. It's not a real holiday anyway.
Wow.
Wow.
I
That
don't think we
escalated
could be
quickly.
friends anymore.
I mean, that really did.
All right, goodbye.
No, not you, Ricky. I was talking to Scott.
Thanksgiving decorations suck. That's why. That's why nobody cares. Fuck the parade. I don't shop at Macy's anyway. Fuck them. That doesn't work.
I watched the Westminster Dog Show on Thanksgiving.
Oh God.
And for this year, I'll be watching Hawkeye rather than going shopping. So there you go.
I remember. I know we're going off topic, but I remember the parade was probably the one when Kiss was. I think I was in Houston. I was in Houston. That parade. I was in Houston when that parade happened. I didn't know they were gonna be there. I was with my aunt, but I was watching the TV. Like, is that Kiss? I was like, that's Kiss? Why nobody tell me Kiss was gonna come to the parade?
The whole way through.
Damn right.
Yeah.
And then after that,
I love a parade.
And naturally, they played Rock and Roll All Night. I'm waiting for them to play something like Strutter or Nothing to Lose. Or
Why would they do that?
Play anything
you know
like
what?
that.
Give me God of Thunder. Play God of Thunder. God of Thunder.
That's the best Kiss song, honestly.
Or All Night.
Next to Detroit Rock City.
X and sex. Do that at the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Let's put the X in sex. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Let's put the T in turkey. Teen Turkey!
You love some-
Dynamite! Watch me
Oh.
explode!
While you guys listen to Kiss, I'm assembling my rock and roll over puzzle.
There you go.
There you
So
go.
what's the topic of this week's episode?
I love
I don't know.
I don't even know. We're apparently Scott hates Thanksgiving, and
I never said that. I never said I hated it. I just said it's overrated.
Well, according to the internet,
Put words in
overrated
my
and
mouth,
cheap
boy.
is the
Hey.
same thing.
I'm still in my Halloween face. I got Dante here watching my ass right here.
Holy shit. Anyways, yeah, top 10 Survivor Series main events. Before we get into our individual lists, we need to go through honorable mentions. I shall begin. I only have 3. One
Just
match in
reiterate,
particular.
I just want to make sure too. This is the final match of the show.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
main event.
Yeah,
Yes.
The
Last
main
match.
event.
Mm-hmm.
Because like at Survivor Series 91, Taker and Hogan was the main event, but it was not the final match. So
Yeah. But, so yeah, 3 honorable mentions. First, Team Orton versus Team Triple H from 2004. I really, really liked that match. And this was during the 3-year stretch. Well, this was the second year of the 3-year stretch where Orton was the sole survivor of the Survivor Series main event match, or the traditional Survivor Series match. Next up, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre from last year. Because, damn, those two know how to put on a hell of a match. And I'm hoping that if they start building Drew up again, he gets the belt off Roman at WrestleMania. Tell that story there. But this third match, I wanted to put this match in the top 10 so bad, but there were just other matches that beat it out. John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Triple H from 2009.
Oh, 09.
I really, really liked that triple threat. I thought those 3 tore the
That-
house down on that.
That 2009 was actually my first time I bought on pay-per-view for Survivor Series. That was the first one I bought for pay-per-view.
Jeez, you guys are young.
But yeah, I wanted so bad to put that triple threat in the top 10, but the 10 matches I felt were better in the end. So there you go. James.
I have 3 honorable mentions. First one, Cena, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, 2009. Second one, Rock and John Cena versus The Miz and R-Truth from 2011. Third one, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, 2020.
Walter.
I have 4 honorable mentions. From the very first Survivor Series main event, Team Hogan, which consisted of Hogan, Don Morocco, Paul Orndorff, Ken Patera, and Bam Bam Bigelow against Team Andre, which is basically the Heenan family and Butch Reed and the gang. It's Andre, Bundy, Rick Rude, Butch Reed, one-man gang. Did I say one-man gang twice, did I?
No, you didn't. No, you're fine.
No, you did it. You're good.
All right, that was from 87. Okay. Honorable mention goes to 98, Rock versus Mankind, the World Championship Tournament final, Deadly Games. Also, might be a controversial pick here, because some people, I have a feeling this might be on some people's lists. I don't know. The Montreal Screwjob from 97, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. And also, honorable mention goes to the second match ever between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. Perfectly booked, amazing reaction, but it's also like, what, 90 seconds, if that?
Scott.
I put
2 of my 3 have already been mentioned, so I'll just drop them real quick. I did put Roman versus Drew from 2020. I did pick 1997, Brett versus Shawn, because the match is nothing spectacular. It's more what happens after the match that everyone talks
Exactly
about.
the reason why I didn't have it on
So
mine.
that's why it's not on my top 10.
The match
It still
itself-
deserves to be mentioned, of course, but just as an honorable mention. And I threw this on there because, hey, after the 20-star match Undertaker had at SummerSlam in 1994, he had a much better match against Yokozuna in a casket match that year. So that's my other honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ricky.
I have the first one, 1987. Team Andre, no, the Heenan family versus Hogan, the whole Hogan gang. 1992. Brett versus Sean for in Survivor Series. Bit of fruition what would later happen in 5 years. Wink, wink. 96. It was Sean versus Sid. Again, decent match. And last but not least, 2014, Team WWE versus The Authority with the debut of Sting.
This is going to be an interesting top 10,
It is,
especially when we
yeah.
do our own.
Because several that have been named are already in my top 10.
Same here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Same
speaking
here.
of that, and real quick before we get on with it, shout out to the chat, Arthur Jones on Twitch and Angela on YouTube watching. But
Is that
now,
Angela Lemaire?
yeah.
Is that Angela Lemaire? Hi, Angela! Love you, girl.
And now time for the top 10 itself, starting with me at number 10. It's already been spoiled by Walter. Rock and Mankind, Deadly Games 98. Who would have thought that this match would begin one of the best feuds either guy ever had? And this is the only time where they recreate the Montreal Screwjob and it worked. Because, like, holy shit. The Rock then becoming the corporate champion, and it was awesome to build up towards WrestleMania with he and Austin. Foley played his role well in this match too, though nearly fucked up his knee when he took the elbow dive off the second rope through the table where he hit the side of his leg off the edge. Like, good
Mick
lord, Mick. Yeah, that's Mick for you.
Mm-hmm.
But awesome match and a well-told story and a well-booked finish. I mean, the whole show itself was well-booked. Say what we will about Vince Russo, but this was his crowning moment as a writer. This whole show, especially this match.
Oh, shit stain.
But that's my number 10. James?
My number 10 is Team Raw versus Team SmackDown 2005. Really enjoyed that match. And Randy Orton being the sole survivor for the third year in a row. You had the return of The Undertaker after the match. Not much more I can say about it.
Walter?
My number 10 made a couple of views, honorable mentions. That would be the 2009 main event with John Cena, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. Great match. I really liked it. I actually watched it again over the weekend just to be sure if it was worthy of a spot in here. And I thought it was a hell of a match.
Mm-hmm. Especially, I like John Cena's reaction when Shawn super kicks Hunter. He's
right
like,
at the start.
Oh yeah.
He's like, oh my god. Of all people, Shawn, really in Survivor Series, of all people.
And this was during one of John's low points where a lot of the smart fans were shitting all over him. And this match is just another evidence about how great John is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Let's go Cena, Cena sucks.
If you think John Cena can't work, you don't know wrestling.
You don't know what work is.
No.
Yeah. Scott?
My number 10 has been mentioned in other people's honorable mentions, and my number 10 goes all the way back to the beginning, 1987. Heenan family versus the Hulkamaniacs. It sets the tone, and we talked earlier about the format of the very first Survivor Series is just perfect. You got the mid-card guys circling around the Intercontinental title starting off. You have the women's match next. You have the tag teams having a tag team elimination match next, which was crazy at the time. And then, of course, you got the top guy main event stars blowing it all off there. And Andre goes off at the end as the sole survivor. And this continues because this was also when we were getting a lot of vignettes of the $1 Million Man. That was coming into play. And the timeline, if you think about the timeline here, 6 months between that and WrestleMania 4 with the whole, I'm going to buy the world title. Hell no. The main event, having the highest rated wrestling match in history. They'll never be broken. All the way to WrestleMania for Savage to get the title. You think of that time frame there. And it's still going at that point. That's how strong a storyline it was. And Andre getting the chance to go up, main event of a pay-per-view. because it was specifically made to fuck over Jim Crockett and the NWA. It's memorable just for that.
Of course, if you ask Bam Bam Bigelow when he were alive, he was supposed to go up in that match. That was supposed to be
Of course
his
he
big
was.
run.
Yeah,
But
of course he was.
Hogan used his creative control and changed shit. Yeah, and also Bam Bam.
This don't work for me, brother.
Me, brother.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the big rub, but Hogan said, "Wait till WrestleMania 4, brother." And then,
So that's my number 10.
Ricky?
My number 10, last year's main event, Drew versus Roman. I really, really enjoyed this match, especially the amount of heat, the amount of, they're actually booking Roman how we wanted him to be years ago. A total badass. Not to mention Drew, who is really becoming a good worker right now. But again, though you have the WWE, he was the WWE champion at the time. Drew, WWE champion at the time. Universal champion, colliding. It was one of my favorite matches of the night, and this was why Roman. I hope they still kept Roman world champion after WrestleMania. Hell, gave him the world title for another year and a half until somebody who's worthy of taking the title off him actually means something. Just saying.
Yeah, that was a Thunderdome era match too.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to tell me favorite Thunderdome match era, that would be one of them.
That would be up there.
Yep,
it would be up there.
Drew did everything he could. He held the company on his back through the pandemic. He busted his ass and took every match seriously, no matter if there was a crowd there or what, or the screens or whatever. And Roman, that was the birth of the Roman Reigns era. So those two men
the head at the table.
The match was great, but if they will, I wish it could have been like maybe an Iron Man match. I think it would have been better. Maybe who's the actual best person? It'll help. It doesn't have to be an hour. Give him a 30-minute Iron Man match.
Yeah. All right, now to number 9. 9. My number 9.
Yes.
My number 9. Batista Undertaker, Hell in a Cell for the world title at 2007. Ooh.
8.
I almost broke Ricky there. You
broke me a long time ago. We're past you breaking me.
Never forget. Anyways,
I thought we were in agreement.
I never said that. Anyways,
definitely one of the best Hell in the Cell matches for sure.
It's up there.
Yeah, and the perfect culmination of the feud that started back at WrestleMania with these two, and also you had the return of Edge to continue on Taker and Edge, and even Edge and Batista a little bit. And
it was a top 5 Batista match for his entire career, if you ask me.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's my number 9. James?
My number 9 is back from 1996, Shawn Michaels versus Sid for the WWF Championship. The crowd made this fucking match. Because you had Shawn Michaels, the boyhood dream, and the fans did not want anything to fucking do with that because Sid was red hot at this point, and the company didn't know what the fuck to do because it's like, wait a minute, Shawn's supposed to be the babyface, but here's Sid getting these reactions, but we want him to be the heel, and they fucking did everything in this match to get Sid booed. They had him give Jose Lothario the kayfabe heart attack, and even then the fans still cheered.
It was basically a throw. It was basically foreshadow. It was like back then. It was that version of Cody and Malachi Black.
And let's not forget, this was supposed to be Vader in this spot, which it would have worked there. It would have worked there, but here it was over as a babyface. But they tried to make him a heel. But even then, the match was great. It was Sid's best match. And my number 9.
And that says a lot from Sid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Walter?
My number 9, I think, was on Levi's honorable mention and Ricky's as well. 2014 Team Cena versus The Authority. Again, a red hot crowd and the stories that unfold throughout the whole match. Match starts off Mark Henry and Big Show. Big Show lays him right out with a punch, gets him right out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Who was being built as a beast at this time. How are we going to eliminate this guy? Count out.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Harper, God rest his soul, was getting some good momentum going on there too. But above all that, the twist, Big Show turning on the Authority, Sting with Triple H and Rollins. It looks like victory is at their hands. Sting comes out and foils everything for them, and an elevating moment for Dolph Ziggler. Gets
Crowd loves
Yeah.
it.
Which I don't know how WWE did not capitalize on that. I mean, if I was
the MVP of that match.
Yes,
if I were to go back in time and book that afterwards, I would have let Ziggler win the world title, or hell, even win the Rumble match. Keep that momentum going. If I would have been,
you want to know why? You want to know what killed the momentum? Because him and Harper complained about one of their matches. Harper was not happy about dropping the Intercontinental title back to Ziggler, and Ziggler kind of agreed with it. And I guess from what I heard, that's from what I heard, and I think that's what I think Harper said that in one of his interviews. That their displeasure got back to creative, and they're like, "Well, fuck it, we're not going to do anything else with it."
Or was it Babyface himself?
That's one thing you got to watch out. And I think Ziggler is kind of used to this. Because Ziggler is open about certain things. If it goes back to creative may suddenly have nothing for you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You got to watch. You got to watch what you say and watch what you do, because every little thing you say and do matters.
Which I'm still shocked Ziggler's still in WWE, but good for him. But wow,
He's busy with other things too. He has other projects, so he's not hurting at all.
Getting paid 7 figures to be pretty much lay down for everybody.
Yeah,
and he seems fine with that. It's like Cesaro. Cesaro put over Angel Garza last night. They're gatekeepers. They're workhorses. You don't have to be a world champion to be considered a great worker. Or else Brad Armstrong would have had 20 million title reigns during his time of his career. You can be a good hand, and that's what Ziggler is—a good hand. He's a gatekeeper.
Scott,
he doesn't care about belts. He cares about having a great match. Anyways,
what are we on?
Number
9.
9.
Thank you.
9.
My 9 has already been mentioned. I think it's an honorable mention for somebody. It's 1998, The Rock versus Mankind. The story building up to the finish of the tournament, the screw that nobody saw coming at the time, because everyone seemed like it was time for The Rock to go on to become the next big superhero, and the big screw job done right, as you were mentioning earlier, Levi. It's done perfectly. It gets a little awkward at the end with Austin coming out during the pay-per-view.
Yeah, we talked about that when we reviewed
but regardless of that little nitpick there, its match is still solid, tells that story, and all leading up to what are you talking about? Mankind doing his thing, and Vince playing the great character that he was doing at the time. And as we said on here, it's Vince Russo's crowning achievement. How long ago was that, Vinny Roo? That's how long ago it was.
Ricky?
My number 9 is actually kind of an odd one. Randy Orton versus Wade Barrett for the WWE Championship with John Cena as the special guest referee. Now, this is one of my most memorable Survivor Series matches because of the story of Cena being integrated to the Nexus and Cena trying to destroy the Nexus from within. But then we realized that wouldn't be the case, and he would be fired. So Wade Barrett would basically boss him around to the point that the Monday before Survivor Series, which was Legends Night, I remember that, it was with Piper, Cena in the ring. Wade Barrett comes out, tells him to put on the Nexus shirt, and Cena was like, "Do I do it? Do I not do it?" He did not. I think he did put up the shirt.
He did put on the shirt for a while.
Yeah, and gave him. I think gave him an F5 to him, and of course the match happened. Randy was champion at the time, which it was a great match, especially the story. And Cena was trying if Wade would have lost, he would have been fired. If not, Wade would have won the title. And I like the ending moments when Randy pins Wade. 1, 2, Cena almost second guesses him. 3. The whole crowd is in shock that Cena's fired. He goes to the crowd, starts hugging kids, throws his band-aids, wristbands, and then on Monday he does his farewell speech, which we know happens later. He came back, quote unquote, got fired. I mean, at the time, I didn't know that there was a work. I still believed that he actually got fired. My ignorance at the time, I was like probably 15, 16 years old, almost 14, which I still wasn't quote unquote smart to the business like I am right now. But hey, that was my ignorance at the time. But yeah, great match overall.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I had to do that. I just had to do that. I'm just fucking with you. Just fucking with you.
We all thought Shawn Michaels was really leaving.
Yes.
Tell me a lie.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you did there. Ha
Aha!
Oh.
But anyway, so now on to actually
Number 8. Number 8.
I'm taking a band in whole new crazy directions.
My number 8, it's been spoiled many times already. Team Hogan, Team Andre, 87, the very first main event. Enough said.
That was a red
Moving
hot
on.
crowd too.
It was, man. Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James.
Everyone, happy Thanksgiving!
Those were the Body Ventura.
Yep. Just yep.
My number 8's already been talked about. Batista Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship inside Hell in a Cell from 2007.
Walter.
My number 8 has already been talked about for the from 2007 for the Heavyweight Championship, Hell in a Cell, Batista versus Undertaker.
Scott.
My number 8, I think, was on James's honorable mentions, and it's Survivor Series 2011, Awesome Truth versus John Cena and The Rock.
You were there.
Because, no, I wasn't at that one. Wasn't at that one. Nope, wasn't at that one. I was at Royal Rumble at MSG. That was before that. There was the other one was the I forget what it was, but anyway, distracting me. Awesome Truth was once a main event team.
Yep.
Think about that. Miz and R-Truth.
Miz right now. Miz right now.
Chosen to wrestle Cena and The Rock.
Like I said, Miz right now, probably, but back then, Miz.
Yeah, back then.
Well, somebody had to lose to The Rock and Cena.
But still, just the fact that we're in there. This is The Rock's return. It's the build-up eventually to Rock Cena at WrestleMania the next year, and I was at the rematch there at WrestleMania 29. But this match, the crowd is just frickin'. I mean, the fire is still blazing to this day, probably. There's that moment at the beginning where it's just Rock and Miz staring at each other, and the whole crowd just is buzzing. Just going crazy from the fact that Rock's there. And you knew the backstory with The Miz. I was a huge fan of The Rock's, and now he's going to stand face-to-face with the guy to work with him in this capacity. You felt great for the guy. Great for R-Truth. Cena, of course, Cena and Rock did their deal. Great drama. Good match. It was nothing spectacular as far as a match is concerned, but that crowd always makes it that special. So that's my number 8.
I could have sworn you went to that one. I guess I was.
I don't think so. Not that one.
I thought it was at the Garden, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, but I don't think it was that one.
Yeah, I thought you went with Scarsdale and you ran into like Charlie and Brad and Mike Anthony, and wasn't that where also Punk wrestled Del Rio?
You see, this is where Walter knows my wrestling history better than I do. So
let me check the history book.
What was there?
My job to do this research.
Yeah, well, it was 10 years ago. Dude, I don't remember what I had for dinner last night, let alone 10 years ago. Jeez. Well, let me say this. Is this, no, was that? Say, I don't know. Fuck it. I don't care. Move on.
I had tacos 10 years ago.
Ricky?
Scott just mentioned it. Miss Truth versus Rock and Cena.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
If not said.
There you go.
All right. My number 7, nobody has brought up yet. Maybe some of you guys might have it. Some of you maybe not. We'll see. Number 7, Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan from 2018.
Thanks.
And to think...
Nobody's mentioned it yet.
Nope.
And to think, a couple weeks prior, we thought we were going to get the rematch from the year before with Brock and AJ. And then they pull a swerve. Bryan turns heel, beats AJ for the belt, and now it's Bryan Brock.
Which wasn't? Didn't they do that 2 years in a row? One wasn't not the main event, and this was the main event.
Yeah,
that they did a swerve.
Yeah, Brock and AJ the year before that, I think, was second to last or third to last.
Yeah, because I remember AJ beat Jinder Mahal of all people for the WWE Championship.
And then here we thought we was going to get the rematch, and then they pull a swerve, and now it's Bryan and Brock, which I will say, this should have been the match at Mania 31. I'll say it right now. This should have happened at 31. But hey, we got the match here, and they tore the house down on this show.
It was, and once again, getting on Lesnar. Where the fuck did he feel comfortable that Lesnar can't work? He just did suplexes. Yeah. My God.
Fucking sold for Bryan.
Exactly.
Sold right for Bryan. That's a big difference there too.
I mean, hell, look at a match he had with Finn at the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that example.
Yeah,
the match with AJ the year prior.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
when you get Brock in with the right opponent and he's into it, he'll deliver.
Yeah, just not Dean Ambrose in that first one anyway.
Tony Khan would yank the belt out of Omega's hands and tell Paige to take a hike.
It's like, here, Brock, here's the title forever.
CM Punk would be like, hey, I don't, no, Punk, no, Phil, sorry.
No, Phil, sit down.
But yeah, these two, and it's like, thinking about it at first when seeing this match on paper, I'm thinking, is Bryan doing the right thing going in against Brock given his health history? But hey, they went out there and they put on a clinic on this night, and
I honestly, when that match got changed, I was like, "Oh my God, he's gonna destroy Bryan!" No.
They made you think Bryan was gonna win.
Yep, that's the magic of it.
And the weird when they did the kick to the nuts, it's like, oh shit, are they gonna fucking have him win here?
Right.
That happened.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, are they going to pull the trigger on this?
Because after all, in Brock Lesnar's past, the low blow is his worst enemy, because he sells it like ah! Like the most ridiculous faces. Especially when Undertaker low blowed him 3 years before.
Oh, didn't that happen also with Kurt during the Iron Man match? They gave him a low blow? I don't remember.
I think so. But yeah, Brock has the weirdest faces whenever he takes the low blow. I swear. The only thing that does throw me off about this match, though, is the fact this was technically a heel match.
Well, Bryan had to revert back to babyface for one
night. But
and the crowd was behind him. Yes, chance.
Oh yeah, they're like, yes, this is the Bryan we want. We don't want the planet's champion.
Because we can't have heel versus heel babyface match. It's not wrestling. Fuck you, Kevin Dunn.
Bryan back then was when he goes to the top rope, he does that. Now he's.
Yep.
And then, yes, chance. Like, I can't do it, guys. Sorry.
Yep. That's because Vince asked him not to do it.
No, he's gotta do it the other way.
What?
I don't know.
Actually, real quick.
No.
Bryan wrestled. Remember the Acclaimed last night? The ones with the rap gimmick, the offensive rap gimmick that pissed everybody off. Max Caster is on his way rapping to Bryan, and he goes, "I've ended more careers than your father-in-law ever did." In the
right.
Father-in-law being Johnny Ace.
Yep.
How in the hell did that happen? I don't know. How in the hell that even happened?
Hey.
You know it's kind of hot. I used to wrestle. Maybe she'll like me. I'm kind of masculine.
I'm just imagining
some 5-star matches.
I'm just imagining that conversation during Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be great.
Oh God.
Bryan has to spend the holidays with Johnny Ace.
Yep.
And the fact that Johnny Ace hired the Bellas and then married their mom.
Yep.
Whenever Bryan's at AEW ripping Johnny Ace, Bryan's got to shut his mouth.
Should be like another. That should be another top 10 weirdest families.
Another butterfly effect.
Or butterfly effect, yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Say, Punk went-
Here we go
Punk went
again.
to Brian. Punk went to Brian. He's like, yeah, your father-in-law can't fucking stop, can he, huh, Brian? Can't fucking stop firing people, huh? I don't want to talk about it, Phil.
James.
We're on number 7, right?
Yep.
7.
Yeah.
All right, my number 7's already been talked about. Team Hogan, Team Andre, 1987.
Well, this is definitely going on the top 10 combined because everyone's had it.
Walter.
My number 7 has not been mentioned yet. And it's not in anybody's honorable mentions either. 1995, Bret Hart and Diesel. Well,
There you go. I got it too. I got it too.
No,
Yep.
great match. Honestly, alongside the match was Shawn from Good Friends, Better Enemies. In my opinion, the best Kevin Nash match he's had in his career. Told a
Match
great
that
story.
year.
And shows you Bret can work anyone to an amazing match.
Mhm. Inside cradle, motherfucker, powerbomb. That's it.
Also, it was
Yep.
a year build up. Okay,
Mhm.
Diesel goes from being one of the like Shawn Michaels flunky. Bret drops the title that night in '94 to Bob Backlund. The next night,
Powerbomb champion.
Power bombs Backlund, beats him in
Made.
second,
Yep.
and runs with the belt the whole year. And we come to this culmination.
And the fucking crowd goes nuts when Brett wins.
Yep.
They really do.
And then they went nuts when he jackknifed
Damn
Bret
it.
afterwards.
Yes, they did.
Motherfucker!
Motherfucker.
God damn motherfucker.
I'm back! I'm back!
I'm going to give you a high five and better have black glove on it, baby.
But if not, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, basically.
All right, Scott.
It's already been talked about. Number 7's that. So Brett and Diesel, 95. Move on.
Ricky.
It's already been mentioned. Lesnar versus Goldberg, 2016. Enough said.
It's
All right,
perfectly booked.
For my number 6, it's already been mentioned. Shawn Michaels versus Psycho Sid for the title, 96. Yeah, Sid's best match, and at the end of the day, just another great match for Shawn Michaels. But yeah, the fucking crowd, especially that Sid sign, or that, the Sid sign.
Yeah, it was a Sid sign, Shawn is dead.
Yeah.
And the final count, 1, 2, no! 3!
Yeah, that one chick in the front row going, no! Oh! The one
See,
Shawn
Vince,
Michaels fan in the crowd.
Vince, that's how you book a match. That's how you book a match, not like today.
The reaction Sid got was if he destroyed the top heel in the company.
Yeah. But yeah, just go to show you how over Sid was in his whole career. Crowd wanted him babyface because of his crazy persona, but companies were like, no, he's too big and scary to be a babyface. We'll
He's a
just
big
keep him
vicious
heel.
heel.
Dude, it was like that in WCW when he was with the part of the Skyscrapers and with the Horsemen. Watch
way
Bad
over.
89 where they're wrestling dynamic. Danny Spivey is working like Shane Douglas or Johnny Ace, and the crowd is chanting, "We want Sid, we want Sid."
Tagging Sid, crowd goes nuts. Yep.
Tags back in Spivey, the Sid chants start back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
James.
My number 6 has already been talked about. Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan, 2018.
Walter.
Number 6, once again, already spoken of, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, 2020.
Scott.
My number 6 already been mentioned. 2007, Batista Taker, Hell in the Cell. On to Ricky.
My number 6, and nobody has mentioned this one. Stone Cold versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, Survivor Series 2000.
Stone Cold
Triple
versus
H.
Stone Cold?
You said Stone Cold
Wait.
versus Stone Cold.
Hunter! I have Stone Cold in the mind. Triple
Undertaker
H.
versus Undertaker?
Wow.
Triple H. Triple
Triple
H
H.
versus Stone Cold. Triple H versus
Okay.
Stone Cold at
Cold Stone
Gotcha.
Survivor Series
Wow.
2000.
Cold Stone versus Stone Cold.
Cold Stone versus
He's
Stone
my
Cold. Gotcha.
man.
Okay, people. You need
So
to realize.
excited. He's so excited.
You need to realize. I did this list not even like half an hour ago. Okay, so cut me
Yeah.
off some stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
We know. It's
5
okay.
bottles
Yeah.
of Mountain Dew ago.
Do the do.
Do
Yeah,
do,
but I
bitch.
mean, yeah,
Fuck
but
Mountain
at
Dew.
the
I
time,
wear.
Yeah, but this was when Triple H was really, really becoming to his own, and Stone Cold being the
Just come back
badass
2
that he
months
is.
prior.
Yeah.
Wants his revenge.
But I just hate that it didn't know DQ. Like, so this was like
Well,
kind of the
perfect
worst.
finish.
it was the perfect finish because you couldn't have Triple H lose, and you didn't want to have Austin lose, and it helped propel their story. So
Here's how I can
Hold on, where's
explain
that
it.
corner? Oh, there it is. Booked into it.
The best way to explain it is Austin doesn't want the pinfall. He just wants to kill Triple H, and he fucking killed Triple H for a week.
yeah.
He basically became
Holy shit!
Oh my god!
That's
The
one of the
game was in
funniest.
that car!
That's one of the
there's
funniest
no-
things I've ever
There's
seen.
there's no blood coming from it.
No.
So you're saying wrestling's a work?
Nah.
nah.
Dun dun dun.
The greatest answer, the greatest question ever answered.
Gotta get Scooby Doo on that right away.
Yep.
All right,
All right,
top five.
now
Time.
time for the top 5, and number 5 is a match that hasn't been brought up yet, or I'm starting to think I might be the only one to have this one. Team WWF versus Team Alliance 2001. Okay, I thought I was on an island with that match.
Yep.
Yeah, say what we will about the shitty invasion angle, we all have. I mean, hell, Scott and I did a rebooking of it.
Back on it, we were fucking spoiled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Granted, it was
despite
it was a worked Forbidden Door, but who would have fucking thought that Survivor Series a year later we would have that kind of main event with guys representing all 3 companies.
3 companies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I mean, like I said, we can all say what we will about the invasion angle, and yeah, this match is the epitome of everything wrong with the invasion. Still, this is arguably, and I say arguably because I got a match later on, you could argue the best traditional Survivor Series elimination match ever. And look at the teams.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the teams. You have cool teams despite the umbrella of the invasion. One team, you have Austin, Angle, Booker, RVD, and Shane up against Taker, Kane, Big Show, Rock, and Jericho. That's a star-studded match right there.
Yeah. Everybody in there and Shane.
1998, that was going to happen. My jaw would have fucking hit the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, it's like, and like they say, this is the end of WWF versus WCW and ECW, and it comes down to Rock and Austin, 2 WWF guys, which
Yeah.
yeah, and then Kurt Angle, a few weeks before, turns heel on WWF to join the Alliance, turns babyface by screwing over the Alliance, and then the next night turns heel, and like James said in his Kurt Angle episode, we all thought Kane and Big Show turned a lot. Good Lord, Kurt Angle was like, hold my beer.
In 2001 alone, he was a heel, then he turned babyface, then he turned heel, babyface, and heel.
His debut match, he went from babyface to heel.
That's true.
It's true. It's true.
And
it's damn true.
And I like JR's response to Paul. You're out of a job. You're fired.
Although I will say the intro to Survivor Series 01 was a great intro.
Yeah.
Showing all the history and stuff of the WWF, like this could be the last night.
And also the promo package built up to this match, to me, is probably one of the most, for me, one of the most memorable promo package I still remember to this day, next to probably the Taker Hardy ladder match they had on Raw.
And they completely buried the invasion because it's like, yeah, we're all sick of this alliance crap, this invasion crap.
Yeah, that's a perennial example. Yeah, that's a perennial example of how good the editing team is there. They can take mediocre stories or shit stories and make great promo packages out of them. Basically, it's basically like making a gourmet dinner out of noodles and salt.
How about the go home with Freddie Blassie giving the motivation?
Yes. I remember that.
That was the time.
Getting out of the
and the worked shoot between Heyman and Vince on the Go Home SmackDown.
And Rock and Austin singing singing
Margaritaville.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Despite Austin not being able to sing worth a shit, he and Rock kind of go together in harmony.
I hate your sticking guts.
Look at Taz! He was a killer, he was a wrestler, and now he's a fat, obnoxious color commentator, and not even a good one!
Cue Taz. Remember, Paul didn't tell Taz what he's going to say. He just said, "You'll know when I give you the cue, dude."
And there you go.
And I like that Vin just took it.
He was like,
he told Paul. What bothered me about that angle is they really fucking made, if you're going back in the history of ECW and how Taz was built, they really made him look like a fucking wimp in that one.
Yeah, well, he buried himself behind the scenes anyway. So he did that to himself.
Probably one of my favorite Paul Heyman promos next to the ECW One Night Stand. The only reason you were WWE champion for a year
is because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays.
Screw you! Screw your family! Your kids hate your stinking guts!
And the night after the Survivor Series, we saw Tiny and William Regal kissing it.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, that's my number 5. James?
My number 5's already been talked about. Team Cena, Team Authority 2014.
Walter?
My number 5 has already been talked about. Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar 2018.
Scott?
I got one that has not been mentioned at all yet.
Ooh.
And it is. And I'm guaranteed it's on everyone's list from here up. Survivor Series 2002 Elimination Chamber. Triple H, Booker, Jericho, Kane, RVD, Shawn. Great match. Tells a great story. It's Shawn's return. It's a little slow in the middle. That's why it's kind of low on my list. But and we know what happens. We know what happens in the match.
World champion. Do you
believe in miracles? And just remember, the Dudley Boys got a bigger pop that night than Shawn did. But regardless of that fact, it is the inaugural Elimination Chamber. It sets the tone for the match. Arguably, it's still the top one, if you can say, it's in the top 3 at least to this day, because Elimination Chamber has just kind of become a thing. But for its time, these guys, you had the right number of guys, the right guys in this match to make it what it was. So, it's my number 5. I'm sure many of you will contemplate and pontificate about it a lot more when we get there. So, moving on.
Ricky? while I'm sulking over here.
I actually have a tie. I have both the 94 Taker versus Yoko casket match and Batista Taker Hell in a Cell. An upset. I love Taker. I love both of them. And one with Yoko, their second casket
match that year. Yeah.
Casket match was it wasn't
Chuck Norris.
Good as
Norris kicked Jeff Jarrett in the fucking face.
That's right. Walker Texas Ranger takes your ass out, boy.
I love the ending though, where after he throws Yoko in the casket, he breaks the flag.
And then slam the lid, and the crowd goes nuts.
The iconic end of the pay-per-view where he flips his hair back and just the face. You see that in his Titantron.
To this day.
That was basically the end of Yoko's single run too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he went away to weight loss stuff after, and he wouldn't return until WrestleMania.
He went to weight loss and found it.
You don't mess with Chuck Norris.
Rest in peace, Yoko.
Yes, rest in peace, Yoko.
Yeah,
goddamn.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, so next time you see Chuck Norris, don't even look at him. Don't even acknowledge him.
Because they say that under his beard, that's not a chin, just another fist.
Except who would win in a fight, Chuck Norris or Arn Anderson?
Chuck Norris.
Arn Anderson has his Glock.
He's got his Glock.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
What if you give Arn Anderson the scissors? Will that change the outcome of the match?
A Glock and scissors?
That's psycho, dude. That's psycho, dude.
Yo, that's to put Chuck Norris over. Anyway, moving on.
Number 4, Levi.
All right, anyways. My number 4. It's been brought up, and I think it was in somebody's honorable mentions, but Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, 92. And to think And to think that the main event of this show was going to be completely different. That it was originally going to be the Flair and Razor versus Savage and Warrior tag match.
Thank God it didn't go to that.
But before Warrior was gone again, and then it became Mr. Perfect. And then we get this match, and originally it was just going to be Bret Shawn for the title, and it still stayed that way, but then you got the added factor of Shawn now being Intercontinental Champion. And these two put on an amazing match. I would argue it's almost as good as the Iron Man match, but not quite. But it's still an amazing match between these two. So,
and again, who would have thought 5 years later, both of them in the main event?
Main event again. Under different circumstances, and and they hated each other by that point. Where here they were kind of buddy at the time.
They were so cool because Bret was here and Shawn was here.
They had a more smooth,
Shawn's not there yet.
More traditional wrestling match. Where '97 they were like potatoing each other.
Oh yeah,
make it look real.
Sunny days.
James,
my number 4 is Levi's number 4, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels from 1992.
Walter.
My number 4 was mentioned. It is the Raw versus SmackDown from 2005, the third and final in the Randy Orton Soul Survivor trilogy.
Scott.
My number 4 has been mentioned. 2001, Team Alliance versus Team WWF.
Ricky?
We're going to fire some of this quick now because we all like the same
name. Walter mentioned it. Team Raw, Team SmackDown from 05. Randy Soul Survivor. Taker coming back. And unfortunately, Eddie was supposed to be in the match. And, circumstances.
Yep. And now for number 3. And my number 3 has been spoiled so many times, I've lost count. Team Authority versus Team Cena from 2014. I mean, this match I felt was almost picture perfect to some degree, except I would change 2 things about this match. First, don't tell anyone about Sting coming in. Because...
Well, yeah, because it started advertising.
Because the internet knew that he was going to be there, and it kind of soured the moment for me a little bit, but it was still amazing to see. But I would have just had them not say anything.
It's one thing. It's one thing to telegraph somebody's going to be there. It's another thing to telegraph where they're going to show up, and you didn't think it was going to be Sting until that moment. So, because he could have just showed up in the middle of the show. He could have just showed up there to do this, that, the other thing. They made the right spot for him specifically to come out and be a part of the match. So,
I kind of figure he was going to show up at Survivor Series because when they started advertising the game,
the video
Sting was one of the pre-ordered unlockables. So it was like it's a matter of time before Sting shows up in the ring. And I was like, what? It could be Survivor Series. It was either the Rumble or So I was like, Survivor Series most likely. And I mean, I still was shocked that he actually.
I was still surprised, but I'm just saying, like, the company should not have said anything about it.
I marked out. It was
I mean,
it was the first time
I marked out too.
I marked out too.
I watched the match again today and still got freaking goosebumps watching that.
And 2K has this tendency of doing it because they also did it with Goldberg when he was one of the pre-orderable unlockables.
Warrior
came back.
Warrior though.
Yeah, he came back too. So, and they haven't done it ever since, I think.
Yeah, there's not been really anything.
No.
It was cool for me because my kids were familiar with Sting at that point because of the video game. And when he came out, they knew who he was, and I was like, all right, I'm sharing my childhood with my kids. This is awesome,
And then the second thing I would change is, like, after Sting delivered the death drop to Triple H, I would not have had him put Ziggler's arm over Rollins. I would have just had, like, them both slowly come to, and Rollins look at Triple H and be like, what the hell just happened? And then Ziggler delivered a zigzag in 1, 2, 3. Guarantee if that would have happened, it would have been an even bigger pop for Ziggler. I mean, it was still a big pop, but I just would have changed that
Yeah.
little minute detail just to make Ziggler shine a little more because...
You want to bury the pedigree that bad?
Ziggler ran the gauntlet though with Rusev. And
Hang on, I asked a question. Levi, you want to bury the pedigree that bad?
Well, nowadays finishers don't even matter anymore. They kick out of them.
That's now. Back then, 7 years ago. Pedigree. You want to bury the pedigree that bad? Just have him get up from it?
You know what? Yes. I'll just say it. Yes, because
you like Thanksgiving, isn't it?
Yes, pretty much. Now Scott's turning red. Red as a fucking tomato. Anyways, James.
I don't eat tomatoes.
My number 3, Diesel Bret Hart, 1995 for the WWF Championship. The story heading into this, they had 2 prior matches, no conclusive finish. They do the match here where it's no DQ, no countout, must end by pinfall or submission, so there's gonna be a winner here. The whole story heading into it, Diesel's held the belt for a year. Bret, he lost it under controversial fashion. He had 1 match, no finish, so in a way, Diesel's held his belt for a year. Just great stuff heading into it, and one of the best matches all 1995 in the WWF.
Absolutely. 100%.
Walter?
Number 3, you said, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
WWE and the Alliance, already been mentioned.
There you go.
Scott?
I think what's going to be cool is we're all going to have, or at least most of us are going to have different number 1s.
Oh, yeah, we are. Yeah.
Yep.
But it seems like all our 10s through 6 are kind of like all in the same area, and all our 5 through 1s are kind of all in the same area, too. It seems
We're
that
all
way.
on the same wavelength.
Exactly. So, which tells you how great this freaking show is. My number 3, again, already been mentioned. Go figure. Because anybody out there watching this and watching this in the future, the actual business of pro wrestling, not the wrestling business, but the business of pro wrestling is to do the most you can and make the most money with the least amount of effort. And that is why 2016 Brock versus Goldberg is my number 3. It is 5 minutes from start to finish with the intros and all that stuff of perfection. You want to get a guy over, that's exactly how you do it. Goldberg looks like unstoppable in this match. Brock sells, he's cocky, he pays for it. 2 spears, jackhammer, done. The best match of Goldberg's run in WWF ever. WWE, ever.
Yeah,
Ricky?
there's 3 moves, and it's a limited move set, and the work rate wasn't very good.
Well, the work rate was horrible, and nobody's juiced, and that body slam was shitty.
Personally, I preferred their WrestleMania 33 match, but that's
Me
just
too.
my opinion.
Me too.
More than this, but I love that match too.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky?
Yeah.
Maybe all the 20 match sucked.
Yeah, we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why when they announced that match, I was like, I was dreading it. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think everybody was dreading it at first.
Yeah.
It was a very pleasant surprise.
And thankfully for 2016 and Mania 33, it sort of kind of redeemed 20 to some degree.
What year was it? That was what, 2015?
Well, what?
No, what year was Brock and Goldberg?
2016.
2016.
Okay.
Yeah. My number 3, Montreal Screwjob. Enough said. What more can I say about the Montreal Screwjob? That's it.
Alright, now my number 2 has been spoiled a couple of times, and that is Bret Hart versus Diesel, 95. James?
My number 2's already been talked about, Team WWF, Team Alliance 2001.
Walter?
My number 2 is Shawn and Bret, 92. I think, honestly, this is my opinion. I think it's my favorite Shawn and Bret match. It's a great, straightforward wrestling match. Tells a fantastic story. Elevate Shawn to show that he is going to be in world champion, in world champion territory very soon. And Santa Claus.
Scott?
My number 2, same as Walter, Bret Shawn, 1992. Enough said.
Santa Claus.
Ricky?
My number 2, I'm gonna give it to the Elimination Chamber. Now, let me preface why I have it at number 2. I like the build up to the match. For one side, you have the whole story with Triple H and Shawn, which is the genesis of this Elimination Chamber. And you have Kane, you have RVD, you have Jericho. I mean, come on, this were the top, and Booker. Yeah, these were the top guys on Raw in early 2002.
In 2002,
and adding the chamber match to it, where they can't escape each other, you're just locked there like animals, and like Bishop said,
for weeks, it was great.
Yes. Yeah, I mean,
Bishop bear witness to the Elimination Chamber. Done.
And at the time, people were like, "How's this match gonna work? Is it gonna be another steel cage match, sorta?" Which technically it is.
It's essentially like a mix of a Survivor Series match, Royal Rumble, and Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Actually, remember
and
how
War
the
Games.
Internet was? Remember how the internet was back then? A lot of fans were very. By the way, in 2002, fans shit all over WWE back then as well. When they heard the term Elimination Chamber, they thought it was going to be like a Chamber of Horrors thing and had little faith in it.
That's true. Yep.
And look how it turned out.
Look what happened.
It was like
honestly,
it had been the first new match to come along, it seems, since Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
And probably in all of WWE, the last great gimmick match WWE's really had.
Mm-hmm.
No,
because
so I was going to say the same thing.
Oh God, no.
AEW topped that with the mimosa match.
Oh yeah.
I mean, would you say Firefly Funhouse? Really? No, not really. The Firefly Funhouse match.
Fun.
You mean the House of Horrors match, or what do you mean?
The Firefly Funhouse match, the one we had with
Cena
Cena.
and Bray.
Cena and Bray from last year at
yeah.
Mania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's more of a mental,
psychological. It was
more of a Cena character assassination.
Yeah, it's a mental game. It's working on the true psychology, working against persons in being an actual cerebral assassin, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Just displaying it on screen instead of using it. Thank you very much. I'm here all week.
But yeah, that's my number 2.
And now number 1, yes, I've been sulking ever since, Scott, you motherfucker. Wow. Yes, it's Elimination Chamber from 2002. I mean, this is one of my favorite matches ever. I mean, I grew up on this match. I watched this, I don't even know how many times. I mean, just the little moments, like the RVD jumping from the top rope and catching the cage and then jumping back. That was a cool moment. Yeah, the one bad thing about this match, fucking Triple H getting his throat fucking crushed.
Yep.
Like,
but he
holy
finished.
shit. But he finished the match, which proves how tough Triple H really is.
Give him some fucking credit for that one.
And, yeah, it was predictable, but it was the right call for it to be Shawn and Triple H last. And, yeah, it's like Shawn didn't want the belt here, but it was a great moment to see the comeback of Shawn, bloodied up, holding up the belt despite
those shitty fucking tights.
Yeah, I was just about to say those shitty pants and cowboy boots. But yeah, to me, still the first chamber match. There ain't never gonna be another one to top it, no matter what they try. It'll never top this one, in my opinion. But that's just me. James.
My number 1's the Elimination Chamber from 2002.
Walter.
All right, I guess the three of us are going to have the same number 1, Elimination Chamber 2002.
All right, Scott, the contrarian.
That's right. No, the brilliant genius. You got that word wrong. Check your autocorrect next time, my boy. Number one for me, because this is all about our personal opinions. My number 1 is 2014 Team Authority versus Team Cena. Because the drama of this match, all the storylines culminating together within the match. During the match, there's drama going on. The Big Show turn, the buildup of Dolph Ziggler. And a big shout out to Luke Harper, John Huber, who got the big exposure in this match. Eric Rowan, too. He should get some credit as well. Mark Henry plays his part very well at the beginning of the match.
And Russo.
And Seth Rollins, this is a part of that buildup of Seth Rollins. He's Money in the Bank at the time. Cena being the cheerleader at ringside there. Just all the things. Having the Authority, the Cruiserweight division, Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble out there. Also with Stephanie and Triple H, all running thing. I want to say that Mercury and Noble were the agents on this match, and that's why part of the reason too why they were out there to make sure they could direct traffic just in case. I'm guessing that, but I could be wrong. them, or maybe it was BG James. It could have been the Road Dogg, but just everything culminates to Sting coming out. Everyone just blowing their freaking loads all over the place, just shooting massive flyers of jizz everywhere. It's like it's like a Levi's. It's like Levi's stream when 31 subs come flying through. So it's like all that stuff happens, and Sting comes out, drops Triple H, pulled Ziggler over. Here comes the referee. 1, 2, 3. It just fucking goes nuts. Almost perfectly booked, you could say, from start to finish. 45 minutes. It's fantastic. Like I said, watched it again today and still got psyched up watching the match. So that's my number one.
Yep. Match starts off with 2 AEW commentators.
Yes, look at that. Who still has a job from that match? 2 guys. Seth and Dolph. That's it.
Ziggler and Rollins.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess you could say Cena.
Technically,
You can technically Noble and Mercury. They're still kind of agents.
I think they are.
Mercury isn't. Jamie is. Yeah, Mercury's not though. Jamie is.
All right, Ricky.
My number one is 2001, the Alliance versus WWF. Now, I need to preface this. This was in 2001. I began to be a really, really hardcore WWE fan around maybe 2006, 2007. This was during the hype that the internet was still blowing. I mean, we actually had YouTube at the time. We could actually watch full-on wrestling matches. You can technically still
YouTube
can.
Became too corporate for your own good.
You can technically still can. I always remember going back and seeing this match. I mean, I didn't know the story behind, the Alliance and all that. It wasn't years later I actually found out, which kind of diminished the match a bit for me. But, you have in one side The Rock, Taker, Show, Kane. And the other side you had, for some weird reason, Austin was in the Alliance, which didn't make fucking sense. Jericho. It was a great match. And then the aftermath, when Howard Finkel announces the World Wrestling Federation, and everyone in the back is celebrating except the Alliance. You're like, yeah! Stephanie with that historical, no! I was just like, can someone just put some milk on her and call it a day?
The $1 million princess has become a Dairy Queen.
And also, I mean, the commentating of JR and Paul Heyman just, it was perfect. And I like Paul's reaction, like, you're out of a job, Paul. You're out of a job. But yeah, that's my number one.
There you go.
And now
the fun begins.
Now the final 10. I think safe to say because 3 out of 5 of us had number 1.
The Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, give it to the Chamber.
Number 2, I think we should maybe give that to Brett and Diesel, maybe?
No,
I think
WWF Team Alliance.
I think either Alliance versus WWF or Cena versus Authority.
Well, I was going to say Goldberg Lesnar.
I say we can give it to Alliance WWF number 2.
Yeah.
And then
Cena
Authority number 3.
Yeah.
4, I would say...
Brett and Shawn number 4.
Brett Shawn 92.
You want to do that number 4?
And Brett Diesel number 5.
Or do you want to give Batista Taker number 4?
I think Taker Batista would be number 6 for me.
Okay.
Because I did have it lower on my list. So, well, there's the top 6. Now for the rest, I think we should have
Team Raw versus Team SmackDown 05.
That could be. I was gonna say maybe for number 7. I was gonna say
we should put 87 like number 7.
I was just about to say. Like Hogan, Andre.
We all referenced the first.
Yeah. I think that should go number 7. Yeah.
Brock and Daniel for number 8.
Yeah.
Brock and Daniel number 8.
Number 9.
Sean Sid.
Sean Sid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 10. I would say it's a toss up. I would say
Goldberg in there, or are we not going to do them?
I mean,
Roman Drew was mentioned a lot.
That's right. Drew and Roman wasn't mentioned either.
Rock Mankind was mentioned quite a lot too. I was gonna
true.
say it'd be a toss up between Rock Mankind 2005 and Roman Drew.
I think
Paul,
Roman Drew, because I think we all had Roman Drew. And
I had Roman.
So
I
I had
Drew
honorable
at
mention
10.
though, but
yeah, same here. Mine was Roman, but I didn't have 2005 on my list anywhere.
But I was gonna say with Brock Goldberg, it's like that match still to this day I don't know what to make of it. It's like part of me wants to hate it for the mere fact that Brock gave his win from beating Taker at Mania to Goldberg, but part of me is like, holy shit, they actually went there and I applaud them for it. It's like my mind's conflicted. I just don't know what to make of the match.
Goldberg back to WCW era Goldberg. That's what that was.
They did. They made him the Goldberg he was.
The
So.
first WWE run Goldberg was not like WCW Goldberg.
No. Nowhere near. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like it's like I said, the half of the reason why part of me wants to hate is not the match itself; it's the fact that Brock would give the loss to Goldberg and not somebody else. But part of me is like, well, Goldberg comes out of nowhere, just squashes Brock. I love it. I just don't know. That's why I'm kind of like, yeah.
Contrary to popular opinion, Brock does not have a problem putting dudes over.
Exactly.
Why not give it?
Sense
Why
like
not?
anybody else.
All right. Why not let the audience decide the last spot?
Yeah, I mean, we can do that. I'll put up a poll over on Twitch, so for those who are watching on Twitch.
And
there
if
will be
it
a
goes
poll.
tied, rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, God.
If it goes tie, we just make it a tie. Well, there's 5 of
Okay.
us. We have to go rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
2005.
We'll Rochambeau for it.
Rochambeau for it.
2020.
I'll go first. Bang! You win.
I still can't believe we fucking did that, Ricky, on 2 episodes ago. In case for those wondering what we're talking about, 2 episodes ago over on the Horseman podcast, we did top 10 grindcore albums. We could not agree on what should have been number 1. It was between Napalm Death, Scum, Repulsion Horrified, or Terrorizer World Downfall. And those are 3 albums you could make the case for being the best. So we ended up doing rock, paper, scissors because it was all tied, and it ended up going to Napalm.
Yeah.
So.
And we all had good argument. We all like
exactly.
It has to be it. Because like it could have gone either way. You can't go wrong with any of those 3 being number 1.
Exactly, and that was the reason why all that happened.
So who's excited? We're starting the new year in January with a brand new Amorphous album.
Is that when it's coming out?
Yes, in January. Yes.
Coming up.
And the
Is the
winner
Prophecy out?
is
And the winner is
2005.
There you go.
Team Raw, Team
2005.
SmackDown at number 10. But Hypocrisy, no, I think that comes out in a couple weeks. Like at the end of the month.
Yeah.
End of the month.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
New Whitechapel. Good. I
He's talking all about it this past week.
It's different because there's a lot more cleaner vocals and more melodic stuff. I like it.
I never was a Whitechapel fan.
Me neither.
I like their previous album. What was the one? I think the one that
The Valley.
Yes, that one was good. That's probably one of my favorite Whitechapel albums. But in terms of the band, I can appreciate what they do, but it's not like I'm in it for Whitechapel. If someone tells me, what is a Whitechapel? Sure, why not?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's just, it boils down to I'm just not a big fan of deathcore, really, at all. Apart from a few bands, I don't really care for deathcore.
Yeah.
Too many breakdowns for my taste. So yeah, our final top 10. So our final top 10 at number 10, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown from 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9,
Is it Brett and Sid? Sean and Sid?
Sid and Sean from 96.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, it was...
What was it?
Who's in charge of typing stuff here?
Is number 8 Brett and Diesel?
No, that's number 5.
Okay.
What was number 8?
Was Brock and Drew.
Brock and Brock and Brian. Brock Bryan.
Brian.
Yeah,
Brock and Brian 2018. Number 7, Hogan,
Team
Brian.
Hogan.
Team Hogan, Team Andre 87 at number 7.
Right.
Number 6, Batista Taker 2007. Number 5, Brett Diesel 95. Number 4, Brett Shawn 92. Number 3, Team Cena Team Authority 2014. Number 2, Team WWF Team Alliance 2001. And numero uno, Elimination Chamber 2002.
All right. So now, what about some of the worst main events in Survivor Series history?
Oh, Lord. Number 1, easily... Orton Big Show 2013, hands fucking down. That match was garbage. And nobody wanted that match.
I don't remember.
Nobody wanted that match to happen. Well, the story was like Big Show was being punished by the Authority. They thought, your ironclad contract's stupid, you're fired. And then he's threatening to sue, and then the company brings him back, and he's doing the yes chant, which got him over for a little bit. And then the bell rang for this match, and good lord, this match was fucking horrible.
I don't know if I'd call it bad, but I called it underwhelming and disappointing. Wouldn't Becky and Shayna and Bayley from 2019?
Yeah, that was an underwhelming match. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that's there.
That was the year we thought everything was good. There was some really good things about that year, like the end with Roman Reigns and Keith Lee, and that was phenomenal.
Yes.
What's first one eliminated though, but that was the year NXT dominated. You notice that
they won that show.
They won that.
Yeah.
What was it?
And
like
how many of them still have job?
I mean, Booker versus Batista was kind of decent.
I thought that match was
Team Boss Man versus Team IRS from 1991.
That was bad. That was bad. 93. It wasn't terrible. It was just super anticlimactic.
The grand finale match in 90 was just a squash.
Basically, yeah.
The best match in that show though was Dusty's team versus DiBiase's team. Not because of the Undertaker debut.
The match itself.
I mean, technically 2015, even though Roman won the title from Dean, but then Sheamus cashed in.
That whole thing.
That whole thing.
Yeah, that whole thing was stupid. 2017 was pretty rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah, way too overbooked, and it just... So Triple H just pedigrees Kurt just to have him eliminated and then get the win for himself. That was... And even Braun, and even that was bad.
Yeah, that's up there.
2008, Cena and Jericho.
A very
there it was. 2012, Punk Cena Ryback.
That wasn't bad. It was just average. Again, it was just an average match. Yeah, it should have just been Cena and Punk, but.
99.
That one's not
Big Show
bad. It was
Triple H.
That one's not bad. It's okay, but yeah.
89.
89 was good.
Keenan Family,
not
bad.
Keenan Family and the Warriors. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I guess that's it.
I mean, there's not that many bad main events in Survivor Series history.
No.
Oh, where did the Walter?
Oh,
he might accidentally hit the hang up. But can we all agree that Orton Big Show is hands down number one?
Yeah. In a way, yeah.
Because it's like I said, the match itself sucked, and nobody wanted that match at all.
Was it?
And also 2013.
Wait! It was for the WWE Championship. What the fuck? I don't
Orton was champion at the time. I don't
remember this match.
For good reason, because it sucked.
For good reasons. I just remember.
And it went way too long. It went longer than it needed to be. That's what makes it even worse.
It was just used to set up Cena and Orton for the next month to unify the belts.
Exactly, and that whole show itself, 2013, that was one of the bottom tier shows. Like, really, the only thing on that show that's even worth going back is Team Mysterio versus Team Shield.
Because that was Roman's coming out party.
Yeah, that was an awesome opener. That was an awesome opener.
Yeah.
Hell, if we did top 10 best opening Survivor Series matches, that'd be in my list easily. That was a hell of a match.
Who did Roman beat for Sheamus to cash in on?
Ambrose. It was the tournament final.
Yeah, it was a
after
tournament.
Rollins got hurt. Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, Arthur Jones saying he thinks the 91 main event's the worst. I mean, that'd be my number 2. That'd be my number 2.
Team IRS because Team IRS Team Boss Man was only 3-on-3 because they took Jake out. Sid was hurt. They decided not to put Macho Man in because, hey, we got to advertise another pay-per-view, so we'll give you Randy Savage and Jake, but just a week later.
Yeah.
Now, with this upcoming Survivor Series 5-on-5, who's gonna go over for men and for the women?
I haven't heard the matches yet. Let's pull that up.
Let me pull it up.
So for the women's, so we got the men's and the women's match. So for the women, you got for Raw, Bianca, Ripley, Liv, Carmella, and Zelina. For SmackDown, you got Sasha, Shayna, Shotzi, Natalya, and Aaliyah.
Raw. I'll give it a Raw.
Wow.
I'll give it a Raw.
Who went over last year?
Let me check.
In the elimination match, who won last year? Raw or SmackDown?
Let me check.
For the women,
Raw.
It was Raw last year.
Raw
SmackDown's
won
winning
last
this year.
year.
So SmackDown's winning this year. They've alternated every year for like the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And for the men,
for the men, so for Team Raw, you have Rollins, Balor, Owens, and the Mysterios,
who are all on SmackDown.
Everyone who has shit with Rollins. It's just the team.
and then for SmackDown, Drew, Jeff Hardy, Woods, Sammy, and Corbin.
I'm
gonna lean towards Team SmackDown for that match.
I think Drew's gonna come out.
Yeah, I think they're gonna.
It's gonna be another night for
SmackDown.
Drew.
I'm going.
I think Drew's gonna get a lot, but I think Woods might get an elimination in there too.
Yeah, and we know we're gonna have
Roman versus Big E.
Yeah, unless they give us a swerve and they
like they've done, like they did in the 2017.
I don't think they're gonna take any belt off of anybody.
No, they're not doing that.
Nor should they.
And for the whoop.
Nakamura and Damian Priest should be pretty good.
That sounds like a hell of a match right there.
Let me throw this idea at you. What if, at least in the case of Roman and Big E, they don't face each other; they choose each other's opponents,
like a pick your poison match.
Mm-hmm. So Roman picks somebody for Big E to wrestle. Big E picks somebody to wrestle Roman.
I mean, it's an interesting idea.
Mm-hmm. Because they both still wrestle, and that's going to wrestle each other, which gives them both a chance to shine, and it gives the other guy a chance to really get elevated.
And somebody doesn't have to do the job.
I know we're going to have Charlotte versus Becky. That's a good one.
Make that as real as possible.
Yes.
Yep. Without a screw job.
Yes, please.
Don't fall back on that one.
Let them potato the shit out of each other.
Let's analyze Charlotte Becky. If it goes the way that we think it's gonna go, and the next day it's gonna be like, oh, Montreal Screwjob all over again, because the way it's going right now with Charlotte not being so like backstage, and she's trying to go to AEW with Andrade.
Oh, she's not. She ain't going
I know, but what if they actually unify the titles?
They should.
They will. They should.
Something will happen that'll break the belts up within 5 months.
Yeah, it won't matter.
Every time.
Yeah, true. But I have this weird feeling I don't know why. In me, I'm just thinking this screams Montreal all over again.
Yeah, of course.
There are two things in wrestling that are guaranteed not going to work in the long run: unified titles and the Forbidden Door.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then for the tag teams, Usos versus RK Bro sounds like that could be a really good one.
That should be good.
Mm-hmm. That should be good. Wait, is NXT? Well, are they gonna add NXT?
No.
It's just Raw, SmackDown.
No.
I mean,
Because NXT's developmental again. So
but they could have NXT versus NXT UK.
They could, but they won't.
I know they
I
could,
like
but
that
they
idea a
won't.
lot.
Yeah.
But, I like that idea a lot, but nope, they're not going to do it.
NXT is a developmental, and NXT UK is like a complete planet of its own now.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this rate.
It's the new 205 Live.
What else could they add to the?
And then they'll probably do like a tag teams, like the multiple teams versus multiple teams, but there's not really that many for them to really do that, though.
Honestly, what they have, the 2 eliminations and all the champion versus champions, that's perfect for this show.
Yeah.
You don't need much else.
That's like what? That's 6 matches total, 6 or 7.
World champions.
World champion,
mid-card, tag, women's,
elimination, tag
and then
title,
2 eliminations. Yeah,
women's
6
title,
matches.
Intercontinental.
Yeah.
7.
I just
Yeah.
wish they would
It's 7.
make the show 4-on-4 matches again. Just based on feuds. I would love to see that again. Do a Raw one, do a SmackDown one, do a Raw women's, a SmackDown women's, and do tag teams. That I would have liked to see.
Put it on Thanksgiving.
Personal vendettas.
Yeah, I wish they would put Survivor Series back on Thanksgiving.
That will throw a fit saying Vince is heartless because he's making his employees work on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. They didn't care back in the 80s.
But they didn't care back in the late 80s.
4 years of Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
They also did a Thanksgiving Eve for 4 years. But
but that's back when wrestling drew.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta remember, this is a niche-based audience now. That's why everybody over ratings that average around 1 million to less.
And ratings don't fucking mean anything anymore.
Now, in the men or women's 5-on-5, do we see any crossover? Any screws?
Shotzi and Sasha are in a feud now, so they're on the team. So that's gonna cause a problem on there.
Yeah, that's gonna happen there.
It's just so awesome that Shotzi is now in a program.
Yeah,
and she's going serious now. She's going heel. She's dropped the jacket. She's looking fucking good these days. She always looks good. She's looking really good now.
Yeah. Wait. I was gonna say.
Woo-ha. High five.
Damn.
And she's a metalhead, so even better.
Exactly.
Well, we also got Rhea Ripley, who's a metalhead too. On the other end.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, okay, that brings up another thing. Anybody know? Because we're going to get into the next topic to discuss, and that is the releases that happened this past.
Really, the only other topic left.
Yeah. And I'm also with Moxley going to rehab.
Yep.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing I was about to say about that with Moxley. This is in contrast to me saying Brock Lesnar has no problem putting guys over. Despite what people like John Moxley says. However, after what we learned just this past week, and I don't disrespect to John, I love John, but if that was going all the way back then, can you blame Brock for not letting John do whatever he wanted in that WrestleMania match?
Don't blame it at all.
No, I wouldn't blame him.
John's always been a party guy, way back in this indie days.
Yeah.
So
the guy fucking got drunk and put on a bear costume and cut a promo while fucking another chick. There you go.
There's your answer. But
that's
Levi,
a true story.
I don't know how far away you are from Cincinnati, but you're going to get new neighbors because Moxley and Renee are moving. They're moving to Cincinnati. They're leaving Las Vegas, so they're coming to Sin.
Good.
I'm just imagining Levi with a costume. Please, sir, can I have some candy?
Oh my God, are you serious?
I gotta say this with Moxley. The last few weeks, Moxley has been fucking brutal, though. I thought this was like a gimmick change. If you guys saw the match with number 10, my God, he beats the holy fucking hell out of him.
Yeah.
Potato in him.
Yeah.
Mask.
Yeah.
He's in a bloody mess. And of course, everyone's like marking up and eating it up. And I'm like, oh my God, this John Moxley is awesome. But then also at the end, as he's leaving, he shoves the guardrail and it hits a fan. I have a feeling the network execs saw that, went to Tony Khan, and to patch it up, Tony gave John an ultimatum.
We got a problem, boy.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's good for John looking to get the help he deserves. He should get.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but excuse me, Mr. Roberts, you got a potential sponsorship going on here, so get on that.
Yeah, but now
Sure.
to the release.
Now to the big
Now to the
one.
release.
The releases.
So the big shocker.
Holy shit.
big
Karrion
shocker.
Cross was a big shocker to me.
Keith
I
Lee,
thought
Lee.
Italy.
Nia Jax.
Nia, not so
Nia
much.
was a surprise.
You gotta
Nia
think.
was
You gotta
surprised.
think. Nia, honestly, out of them all, was the biggest one because she's the fucking cousin of The Rock. You would have
Yep.
thought she'd
And
have a
Roman.
job there for life.
Yeah.
But
we were contemplating that she was going to be brought to SmackDown,
Yeah.
put in with the Bloodline, and start working that angle. Thought her and Naomi were going to become the women's representation of the Bloodline.
Which
You know,
they
because they are
should.
in that family. So that didn't happen.
Harry Smith, David Hart Smith, for some
Yep.
reason got
Which
released.
again, like he was
Tony
hired.
Lorcan.
Okay.
Mhm.
hey, I didn't even know
Um,
he was hired.
Eva Marie.
Hi,
Released.
Yeah.
Valkyrie.
Thank fucking God.
Valkyrie, Terra Valkyrie, and
Scarlet.
Scarlet Bordeaux.
Scarlet.
B-Fab. She was let go.
That was
Wait,
shocking
wait,
because
that was shocking because didn't she get a new contract just like a week
She
before?
just signed
2
a
weeks?
contract a week ago.
Just got
I don't
booted
know
up.
what
Yeah,
the
brought
hell
up to
happened.
SmackDown.
Maybe she pissed somebody off. That's the thing. Everything we hear is secondhand information.
Right.
They're now saying Keith Lee had an attitude problem.
That don't make sense at all.
Really hard to believe because he seems
I'm
like
not buying that.
seems so nice.
No.
Oh, Mia
I don't think
Yim. Yeah.
Mia Yim, yeah,
Yes.
that's another surprise. That's another surprise. And there was a lot of people, though, I didn't recognize their names,
Same
honestly.
here.
So I was just like, all right, nothing major
Tony
there.
Lorcan. Tony Lorcan was
Tony
good.
Lorcan, yeah.
He had really good tag matches.
Yep, he did.
Really
him
good
and
tag.
Danny, him and Danny Bush were really good.
He made a video and he was very professional, very appreciative of his time there, and moving on.
Ember Moon.
Ember
Moon. That was a big one.
Lindsay Dorado and Grand
Lindsay Dorado
Metalik.
and
Lin-
Grand Metalik.
yeah.
That was inevitable.
Lindsay Dorado, not really. Grand Metalik, yeah, he was gone. But Lindsay Dorado, I thought Lindsay Dorado had maybe a one more run, but I guess I was wrong.
Grand Metalik tagged Vince McMahon in his farewell tweet. Thank you, Vince McMahon, for granting me my release.
Now, do we see more releases soon?
That's my next question, because a lot of people still like, I don't know, like Tony Storm. Where is she?
I was surprised she wasn't part of that.
Me too. That's where I'm like,
Yeah.
is she still going to be a part of it? Who knows? Tony Storm's one. How the hell does fucking Moss still have a job? Why does Jackson Riker still have a job?
No, he's gone. He was in the last release.
No, he's not. He's still there, dude.
He's still there.
I thought I saw that he was released during the last set.
Nope. Riker's still there.
Wait.
Riley, Sammy, and Owens, all their contracts expired.
Yep. Gargano's is up in December.
Owens. I don't think they might release Owens.
But
or Sammy.
Owens might want to go play with his friends.
He might.
He might.
I mean, he could. I thought Gargano was gone. I was like, what? But no, it was.
Nope, he's still there. But his contract's up December.
Yeah.
Kyle might want to go play with Bobby.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
And same with Roddy.
Let's be honest. I'm very happy Bob got picked up by AEW. Had some good matches, but what are they going to do with him afterwards? I think his better strength is in a tag division with Kyle, because if that doesn't happen, what are they going to do with him?
Yeah, that's the only thing they can use if Kyle goes over there.
Now when I wouldn't be surprised if they release somebody we're not even expecting, because after they release Bray, of all people, Bray, nobody's safe. Hell, they could, for all we know, they could release Becky or Seth or
no.
They're not going anywhere. They need too much money.
They are.
Those are tried figureheads. Bray, honestly, now that I think about it, Bray does come as a surprise, but not as big as I expected, because before he started doing the Fiend stuff, he was having backstage problems.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, because for a while they weren't doing shit with him after they split him and Matt Hardy.
I went to a house show in Albany back in 2017, 2018. It was 2017. And him and Matt had a match, and as soon as Matt hit the twist of fate, got the pin, Bray just rolled out, completely no-selled it, and walked right off. And I'm thinking to myself, That's a guy who's checked out and doesn't want his job anymore.
I know Lacey is a maternity. I know Lacey is a maternity leave, so she's not getting fired.
They're not going to release her on that.
No. I know Bliss kind of took some time off.
Bliss is one I'm wondering about. She hasn't done anything lately.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
She had surgery of some sort of like sinus surgery for.
I don't. But if Bliss comes back, she'll be regular Bliss again because I think the Fiend Bliss kind of.
Asuka's still out on injury.
Asuka's another one.
Still out on injury.
John Morrison.
Yeah.
And
his wife just got released.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be shocking if Morrison gets released too.
Yeah.
I wonder about Tamina.
He's running a course. There's pretty much
maybe
she got her moment. You know, she got her big push and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was great. But come on, what else is
next? Who else?
They did everything they could with Tamina.
Yeah.
Who else? That's
Ricochet.
it.
Ricochet. He's just
Ricochet. That's one that I'm worried about too.
That's one you're worried about too.
But here's the thing too. Where do these guys? Everyone's like, oh, they're all going to land fine. Are they?
Where?
Everyone thinks Tony Khan is going to rescue all of them, and we've had this discussion before. To where for all the let's say for every 5 people you got to bring in for a spot, you got to take away 5 spots, and that's bound to happen. I mean, it's honest. I mean, there's guys that were in AEW from the beginning that you're not seeing anymore. You're not seeing Joey Janela. Not that I'm complaining. You're not seeing Sonny Kiss. Sonny Kiss was like a big featured thing when they brought him on board. He was one of the originals that AEW. You hardly see him anymore now.
Yeah.
There's at least 60 people that you haven't seen in like 6 months.
Billy Gunn and his boys, the Gun Club, they were about to go into a big program with Big Show. And nothing came of it. Just nothing.
Killed that one.
Yep. And you're going to start seeing members of the Dark Order. Just not
for nothing.
The Dark Order, from what I gathered, the original plan was after John had the feud with Cody. The next thing was Adam Page was going to join the Dark Order, but he was going to do a Perry Saturn Raven type thing where he convinces guys to leave the Dark Order, and the Dark Order was going to dissolve. But the unfortunate happened, and they felt it was best to keep the Dark Order going. But how long is that?
Yeah.
But now since we're talking about WWE. How about AEW? Who do you think is going to jump ship?
Eventually they've got to cut some people.
Eventually they do. They have to.
Jericho's an egomaniac, so once they start dangling that Hall of Fame ring to Jericho, he'll
go. He'll come back over. Yep.
Daniel Bryan, I can see eventually coming back.
After a while, yeah.
Because he'll still his wild oats. He'll have the matches that he wanted to have.
Punk, maybe Punk.
That's if Punk ends up ever making peace with Vince.
Yeah.
I mean, if Punk were to come back,
not for wrestling, but Hall of Fame.
Not for wrestling, maybe Hall of Fame, or maybe he'll be like, give me the match with Hunter. What it should have happened.
No, it's not worth it to him. When he left, he said it's not worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hunter's gone. He had a heart attack.
Yeah. And plus, had a heart
Hunter ain't wrestling ever again.
You call it a cardiac event all you want. We know what it means.
Considering how young he is, I can eventually see MJF going over there.
MJF is going to go.
MJF. Yeah.
He'll be the first original AEW guy to jump.
To go,
right.
Yeah.
Darby Allin ain't going anywhere.
His debut is going to be like Jericho's in WWF. It's going to be on that kind of level.
I'd say so too.
He'll have enough star value to when he jumps. He'll be the first major jump, and when he does,
how old is MJF?
He's 25.
25, yeah.
Yeah, he's younger than me.
How old was he when you tried to kill him, Scott?
I am sorry, but both MJF and Ripley don't look 25.
No,
I'm just and they're my age.
So now that brings us up to, like, where do these guys go? Because everybody always wants to say AEW. I mean, there's Impact, there's NWA, there's MLW, Arthur Jones New Japan. I mean, with Cross and Scarlett, I could totally see them going back to Impact. After all, they
yeah.
fit perfectly fine.
They're not making money though. They're not making money. They're working. They're still kind of like in the Thunderdome era. Impact working in front of virtually no crowds.
And where is Impact? What kind of TV deal does Impact have?
It's in Kentucky. They have a deal with Access. They kicked.
It is still Access.
They got Access.
I don't even know what they broadcast.
They kicked New Japan off Access, so Impact have a deal. New Japan is not really bringing in too many guys in.
They could probably use some now.
Speaking of New Japan, Okada's coming to the States for a couple of matches.
Why? So he can be like Suzuki and lose to everyone too?
Yeah, big deal.
Not
how awesome it is to bring Minoru Suzuki over. Here's the thing, and my own 15-year-old son pointed this out. They're pushing him off as the most dangerous man in Japan, but in AEW, he went 0 for 4.
Right. He had the same fucking match every time.
He didn't win any matches. You'd think maybe they could have put him on like a week or two before the match with Moxley to show how dangerous he is and what he can do. Put him against like a Dante Martin or Brian Pillman Jr. and just have him kill him for 5 minutes to show you, oh god, this guy's a bad motherfucker. Every time he was in the ring in AEW, he lost. He beat Nick Gage. Thank God Game Changer was smart enough to book that. Not a good match, but
no.
Or, Suzuki could only work with, and it was the same stuff. Let's hit each other back and forth.
All the same shit. It's all the same match.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, like I said, Cross and Scarlett, they'll be fine in Impact because that's where they were previous.
Right.
Keith Lee, I would like to. I'd be curious to see if he'd go to NWA.
How impactful are they nowadays? I mean, I don't even know what like comes to like Impact. I think Walt was saying they're not really wrestling in front of people yet.
Not much.
So, it's one thing to have companies. It's another thing to have companies that have money to keep going. Because when you wrestle in front of nobody for over a year, that's a significant drop in your revenue, and that's why these companies. That's why Sinclair is saying to Ring of Honor, "Thanks, but we're done with you." Because we didn't make any fucking money off you. Yeah, they can use the write-off for all they want, but they have plenty of other outlets with Sinclair that they can use for write-offs.
And the only other company in the States that's doing anything in terms of fans is AEW. But not everybody can go there because Tony will go bankrupt trying to buy everybody. The only thing that is in
the red, AEW is not making money.
Oh,
no. The only thing that is increased with AEW is how much they're paying people.
Ratings haven't gone up. Pay-per-view buys probably are nil, but they're shelling out a ton of money. Daddy, buy me that. Daddy said sell. So it's like, what the fuck is going on? We're looking at an inflation of talent and a deflation of promotions to use the talent because there's so many wrestlers out there now, and there's nowhere for them to work.
AEW is a high-powered Ferrari with the driver's foot all the way down to the pedal. Eventually,
pain-driven.
It's eventually going to run out of gas.
Yep. It's Vince Neil behind the wheel. It's Vince Neil behind the wheel with Razzle.
Unless
there's a reference for you.
Happens and they get like a high-level star, not a CM Punk level. I mean, like a John Cena or Roman Reigns level.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. Brock Lesnar, that's not going to happen.
We saw a demonstration of CM Punk's star power. Yeah, he gave them a good spike in ratings for about a month.
And pay-per-view buys for the pay-per-view.
Yep.
Yeah, they brought in Daniel Bryan, they brought in CM Punk, they brought in Adam Cole.
And
it gave
all within the span of a couple weeks.
And now they're under $1 million again.
A nice little inflation in ratings, and then it's slow. Now Dynamite's below $1 million again. Rampage is losing to NXT. The new NXT is beating out Rampage. And here's the thing: whenever WWE loses, it's like drops ratings. Oh, they're on their way down. Whenever AEW loses, like Meltzer,
they say, they could try again.
It's like, oh, well, there was a more important show on. Well, not everybody stays up on Friday nights to watch wrestling,
Excuses. It's all
Meltzer, stop sucking the Young Bucks' cocks, okay?
Yeah.
And Young Bucks stop sucking Meltzer's cock because his cock ain't worth a shit anyways.
There's a lot to like.
Same with his brain.
there is a lot to like about AEW. I mean, that Eddie Kingston, CM Punk segment was awesome.
Yeah.
Good. That was really good.
In my opinion, the best promo segment AEW's done, and probably one of my favorite segments of the year.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a pure Memphis, Mid-South wrestling style promo.
Or shoot style type thing.
Yeah.
And it sold. The match sold. They can do whatever they want in the match now. The tickets are bought.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that right there was a hell of a selling point. And that's what Tony Khan's got to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, what happened after that, we had Adam Cole and his buddies go, I'm sorry, I miss NXT Adam Cole. He was in NXT. He was the leader of a top factory.
Now he's
a fucking lackey.
There you go.
He's X-Pac.
He's X-Pac. Mm-hmm.
He's X-Pac. It's like in NXT, or when he told Karrion Kross, he goes, you know what they do to make Adam Cole happy? They ring the damn bell. Well, you know what they do for Adam Cole and AEW to make him happy? They have naked Matt Jackson kiss him on the cheek and let him play on his Twitch account.
Yeah.
I miss NXT Adam Cole because I was hoping that was the one we would get. Don't get me wrong; he's had a couple of decent matches. Rumor has it he's wrestling Christian at Full Gear. That's going to be good.
There's another one. Mm-hmm. There's another guy, Christian. Forgot all about him.
He went to Impact to drop the Impact title. Now he just came back last week,
and that was it. So it's like, what they doing with him? Nothing.
Wednesday. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about AEW's wacky psychology. He gives Adam Cole a concerto Wednesday night, a fucking concerto. When they did the concerto with Edge and Christian on WWE, the guy who took it was getting written off TV for a few weeks. Cole shows up on Friday to wrestle John Silver. Granted, he sells the concerto here and there, but come on. A concerto in WWE when it was him and Christian was a kill blow.
Yes.
They were ending careers with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going into another weird freaking period, and because the releases probably are not done, because after WrestleMania, there's usually another big wipeout of talent, and the impending sale is going to happen. It's just a matter of when, and it's not just talent. It's not just wrestlers. It's the executives too. They had their third quarter earnings call. The CFO on the call giving everybody the great news about the company, the revenue they made, and she was released the next day.
Yep. What I heard, a bunch of staff was released as well without her knowledge.
Yep.
That's the thing. How involved are Vince? How involved is Vince with these releases?
No, he's not.
He's not involved. And that's the other thing. And that's the other thing. And that's the other thing. Like, people want to solely blame all this on Vince. Vince isn't the one doing it. It's fucking Johnny Ace doing it. So if you want to blame anybody, blame Johnny Ace.
Nick Khan.
And Nick Khan. Nick Khan is another big factor. Because once they bring it, this happens in the corporate world all the time, at the higher levels, when you bring in a new executive like that, the first thing they do is look around. I don't recognize any of these faces. You're gone, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. Hey, buddy, hey, buddy, come on in. You're getting the spot now. That's how it's always worked. And that's what they're doing with this company now.
I sometimes think that in WWE offices, they have a big-ass wheel, and they just
select the employee. Who's going? Okay, this guy, fuck him.
Guys, it's happening in the company I work for, okay? I work in the corporate world, and I see this a lot. Thankfully, my spot is pretty secure, but all above me, all management, I've seen so many changes of management over the last, 18 months or 20 months in the pandemic era. It's crazy, and there's no difference in what's happening in WWE.
Triple H is stuck at home trying to get his health and his life back on track and can't do anything about the legacy that he built with NXT. Almost everybody that he brought in and scouted is gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's basically in the lap of Shawn.
Shawn Michaels is having to take over for her right now.
At least Shawn is trying.
And he's not doing a bad job.
No.
It's Shawn, Regal, and I think Gabe Sapolsky who are doing it over there.
Yeah,
you're right.
I mean, can you imagine? Here's the crazy thought. Can you imagine if somehow Hunter eventually becomes CEO of the company? Give the CFO to Regal.
No,
give it to Regal.
No, it's not going to happen.
People don't want that.
There's a better chance of Triple H starting his own promotion than
At
that
this
ever
point,
happened.
yeah.
That ain't going to happen. So.
True. Because with the eventual sale, if it does go through,
It's a
gonna be-
matter of when, not if.
it's a matter.
It's going to be. It's a matter of
But
when, and
do
it's
you
going to be
think-
probably. I'm going to guess Nick Khan will be the one in charge. Vince is going to be like Ted Turner was in the AOL Time Warner buyout.
Yeah.
You're kind of
Very
there.
little to no
You don't
power.
do
yeah.
anything, and then it's going to be a whole new ball game, and things are going to change a lot.
Yeah,
So
but-
right now, some jackass out there needs to get a number 3 going. So if they don't do it now, it's going to be a long time before you see, because AEW, like we said, are going in. They're in the red all the time. They keep hiring people. It's going to get worse and worse. It's going to be a flash in the pan. Thanks, guys. Take your money and run, because that's what the boys do. If somebody doesn't start a third promotion now that actually has potential to grow, we may not have a wrestling business in the next 5 to 10 years.
There are people out there. We know there's millionaires who like wrestling.
You need a billionaire.
We
to
need
do
a
it.
billionaire, but who? It's a
Yeah.
big question. Can you imagine somebody like Bill Gates creating a wrestling empire?
No.
Going
The
back,
closest one I
boy.
can think of,
going back.
closest
to
one I can think of is Mark Cuban.
Yeah, well, Mark Cuban has partial ownership and Impact. But
So
going back
there
to
you
AEW, a lot of like the wrestling fans look at Tony Khan as some sort of wrestling savior. However, outside, if you're familiar in the football, point
Jaguars.
soccer,
Jaguars.
Jaguars, yep.
And his soccer team.
The
Yes.
Khans are viewed as horrible, as mismanagers. They're terrible with their money in the football world and in the soccer world. Meanwhile, in wrestling, they're looked, and that's the funny thing. The people who are following wrestling aren't seeing this with football and soccer. They don't realize that this the guy is mismanaging his soccer team and mismanaging his football team.
And
Well,
just to
he mismanages his wrestling company.
And just to add on to Walter's point, because we always like to talk about Mr. and Mrs. Walmart. Mr. and Mrs. Walmart don't give a shit about Tony Khan, Nick Khan, and all that shit. All they care about is seeing wrestling on television every week. They don't give a shit about the drama behind the scenes. But the drama behind the scenes that the internet fans are harping on is going to make the drama grow, and it's just going to be a vicious cycle that's going to eat itself, shit itself out, eat its own shit, and just keep going and going and going, and then eventually it's going to implode and be gone.
Yeah.
And wrestling will be dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But back to what you said, Scott, with somebody creating a third company. If someone were to do that, how would you do it? Would you do it kind of like a alternative to AEW and WWE? Kind of like
Game Changer Wrestling is considered by many as the third as that third alternative. It's very low key. It's very low key though, but they are drawing their show. If you've seen their shows, granted, Nick Cage is the Sandman. Okay, he's a guy who can't wrestle, but he's very over with the Game Changer crowd, much like Sandman was in ECW. But if you go to those shows, those crowds are red hot, and much like ECW, it's a lot more than just Nick Gage cutting people with pizza cutters. There's actually technical wrestling and high flying, and again, like ECW. So in a sense, Game Changers really started to expand. They're actually going to be doing a show in January at the Hammerstein Ballroom, I believe it is.
Yeah.
ECW ran.
There's actually another promotion we forget about a lot that's been around for a lot longer and has a lot more exposure. OVW.
Ohio Valley.
OVW is still going and has a lot of TV distributed around the world.
That's true.
That's true.
It's a small.
So there's two more companies people are going to be able to go to: Game Changer or
It's a
OVW.
smaller promotion, but it's still going.
Any billionaire out there watching, please invest in one of these wrestling companies, please.
I mean, hell,
How many times have we tried that since ECW fell? I mean, XPW, Lucha Underground.
Right.
What's that one where Johnny Ace was doing the figure it out?
WXO.
Yeah, WXO. The one in Australia. The one that had
WWE.
World Wrestling All Stars.
Yep.
Even New Japan's got their own. New Japan has an American extension now, just nobody watches it.
Nobody watches it. Nobody cares.
New Japan Strong. They have TJP and they have they picked up a bunch of the former Buddy Murphy's there,
Cruiserweights.
but nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's basically just going to end up boiling down to a niche product. And at the end of the day, WWE is probably very soon going to be the only major company left again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say very soon. I mean, I don't know if AEW is going to die a slow death or die at all. It'll probably end up like Impact, and they'll just come to terms with the fact that they're not really going to.
They'll have to just get new people to run it.
It'll just start downsizing and downsizing and downsizing. They'll stop running in the arenas that they run in now. Don't get me wrong; they're selling out arenas very well right now.
Yeah.
But again, they're in the red.
Yeah.
You know, when the roster gets bloated, when guys are not creative, when they're going to be stuck on Dark and Elevation for months at a time, those guys are going to get. They're like, when am I going to get my chance on Dynamite? When am I going to get my chance on Rampage? And Tony would be like, oh, we're going to see the ratings are not justifying anything to add a permanent second hour to Rampage or a third show.
No.
They're not.
All right. So
real quick. Well, to kind of wrap up on the releases in this AEW conversation, I think the way I see it going down the path like with AEW, similar to what happened with WCW in '93, where they're in the red and stuff like that. I could see them eventually reducing house shows, downsizing the roster, and start doing, like, for Rampage, pretty much just for Rampage, do it at a central location and tape it. While Dynamite can stay live wherever, Rampage, I could see them doing like the WCW Disney tapings do at a central location.
Right. That's what they're doing with Dark. They're doing Dark at Universal Studios, doing big taping blocks.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good
that's a nice happy way to end the show.
Happy way to end tonight, and wow, we went for a while, 2 hours plus.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, but yeah.
Dark Side of the Ring presents the wrestling business itself.
Except for WWE, basically. But so before we head out, it's plug time. Well, actually, before plug time, a reminder of the remaining weeks of the year for the schedule. Next week, it's top 10 Survivor Series disappointments. Then it's going to be the top 10 Survivor Series teams. And then we end November with top 10 tag team specialists. And then for the 3 episodes for December, because we're taking Christmas off, we're doing, ECW December to December 06, top 10 oddball tag teams, and concluding the year with Starrcade 91.
The Battle Ball.
But now it's plug time. James?
You can find me on my YouTube channel at We Are Pro Wrestling, where I'm in the middle of my Survivor Series month. I just covered Survivor Series 88. Next week, I'm going to be talking Survivor Series 89. So subscribe to me there. And you can follow me on my Twitter at WAPW_wrestling.
Scott?
You can find me, Mr. Scott, on my YouTube channel under It's Mr. Scott. You find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/It's Mr. Scott. I'm jamming on Mondays and Thursdays. I had a lot of fun this past Thursday with Throw Me Thursday. I was jamming out to Hall & Oates and Nana and various other 80s tunes. I had a lot of fun doing that. So stop on in for that. And Metal is Metal Monday, so stop in for a lot of fun there too. And you can join my Patreon and support me there, patreon.com/It's Mr. Scott.
Walter?
And you can join me and Mr. Scott with our good friends Token Tom Clark, Dan Roberts, Skip Novak, and sometimes Levi. Once in a while, he'll show up and join in with us for the Necrocasticon. We talk about the finest in horror and metal. I'd like to have Ricky on one time. I think Ricky would be. I think Dan and Ricky would like hit it off great.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, our boy Dan.
Yeah,
we got to get Steve Mesa and Ricky together.
Yes.
Yeah, just let me know when, and I'll see what I can do.
We usually do it Tuesday nights, man, around 9:00.
Yeah, it's a good time.
That's usually around the time I get out of work, so I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Token Tom is a big stoner metal guy. He'll educate
Totally.
on
Yes.
Oh god.
Yeah, he's the big stoner guy, and Skip is not necessarily a metal fan, but he's way into horror as far as books are concerned. And of course, our boy Dan, he's metal and horror. You know, he loves all this stuff too. So,
He's all
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's fun. It's a fun conversation, especially when we all have our little digs on each other because Sith are scary.
Reanimate her on.
We had reanimate her on a couple weeks ago. Yes, big shout out to Ra.
Ra.
All right, Ricky.
Well, you can find me on my Instagram at Arkaraman Metal God, and you can catch me in the Horseman podcast with Levi, which next episode we'll be having the one and only Gunner from Blood Red Throne for tomorrow for the interview.
And then finally,
sweet.
Yeah, and then finally, you can subscribe to me on YouTube, ThrashManiac99. I've been starting to get a bit more subscribers as of late now that I've been doing more metal reviews. Last night, I just covered Mastodon's new album, Hushed and Grim. Maybe my album of the year right now. Maybe.
Good record.
It's fucking good.
You can follow me on my dead Twitter account at ThrashManiac99. You can follow me on my skyrocketing Instagram at ThrashManiac_YT. And if you want to be crazy, you can follow and or subscribe to me on Twitch, ThrashManiac99, because last week somebody decided to gift 31 subs and basically help me with Christmas shopping with that.
It's bullshit, you didn't get a hype train from that.
I know.
You should have had one.
Yeah, but it is what it is. But yeah, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time over on my YouTube, it's, Horseman Podcast, interviewing Stian Gunnar Gunderson, bassist of Blood Red Throne, or as I like to call, Viking Lemmy. Because he looks like a Viking Lemmy, the blonde hair and the Fu Manchu.
He just eats a hat.
Yeah. But, so that's it. We will see you in the next one, and until then, horns high. We'll see you next week.